Okay, so we were recently invited to attend the Shenzhen International Audio Show. At this event, there were a whole bunch of product announcements, but the ones that were particularly interesting to us were from Moondrop, and we got a chance to check out what they had in the works at their booth. Now, in this video, you'll hear Caleb, Griffin, and myself talk about some of the pricing that they mentioned, but keep in mind this was local region pricing. We don't actually know what the pricing will be like for North America or other regions, so take this with a grain of salt. But also look forward to full reviews of a number of these products once we've had a chance to get them in for further testing. Now, probably the most interesting new Moondrop product for me was a budget gaming headset called the GM01 Pro, I think, or something like that. And you don't really expect a lot from cheap gaming headsets, but this was one that kind of surprised us in like every way. So I'm very excited to get this one in, and I'm encouraged by what I heard. Have you heard this? Have you heard this one yet?
I have not. To be honest, all the showcasing and the product announcement was slightly confusing, given that it's in Chinese and I only know how to say Ding Chiling. But you know, we'll do our best here while we're here.
Yeah, so we're here at the Moondrop booth. They just announced a new line of gaming headsets. This is the more expensive, I think it's GM01 Pro. I believe it's still under $100, right?
Isn't it like $50?
Yeah, pretty sure it's like surprisingly cheap. In terms of like build notes, obviously it does have these quite visually obvious cables on it.
Reminiscent of the Beyerdynamic headphones.
Yeah, kind of. I was a bit skeptical about them, but you know, they're fine. One thing I will note is that they don't have any cup swivel, like at all.
Okay.
However, they do have more of like a more dramatic tilt, like outward when you put it on, than most headphones that don't have tilt. So it actually does fit the side of my head really well. In terms of the sound quality, I would say it's a little bit surprising. It sounds reasonable. Like treble issues are really the only thing I'm noticing. Like bass and mid seem absolutely fine. Maybe a little bit of like 1K issue, but like 1 dB, 2 dB max. And then on my head, it seems like there's a little bit extra like 4K and then a little bit extra air. But that's kind of just how headphones tend to respond on my head. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think of this, because like I'm surprised how good it sounds. Yeah, I mean the fit might be an issue for you, but we'll have to see.
Let's give it a shot. Okay, hold on. I'm not even going to bother. Oh no, it fits fine.
Yeah, right? I was surprised.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty comfortable too. Like the pads actually remind me a lot of the Flows type pads in terms of like their texturing.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's also super light, isn't it?
Stays light.
It is light.
Right.
Yeah.
Say something in the camera.
Yeah, I'm really just going to be able to listen to AC/DC.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go run by Karen real quick.
It's good.
Yeah, right?
That's really good, actually.
I was surprised.
Dude, the bass is fun.
Yeah, no,
it's actually really good.
It's elevated, but in
Yeah,
a
and then
sensible way.
it's like V-shape a little bit because the treble is like a bit.
Just a very slight
Yeah,
thing up at the
but it's not like
corners.
it's not harsh. It's not strident. Like it still has mids.
Under $100. How do you find the comfort?
I find it surprisingly good. The only thing is that the pads are too small for my ears.
Yeah.
Right, and so my ears do touch the
baffle.
The baffle, and then also like
pad itself.
yeah, it's just not.
It's not a big ear.
But
ear
it's
cup,
it's comfortable still. Like the way that the pad material conforms, it's like a really compliant material for the pad.
Good.
It's not stiff at all.
Yeah.
So it conforms around the head really easily. I think this is a home run. If it's
Yeah, as long as like, the production models are this.
yeah, like
Yeah,
damn.
no, I would probably want one.
I definitely want one already. This is great. We didn't test the mic, but I don't look.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really
yeah.
do that. You want to try, Caleb?
Yeah, I want to try it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm listening to One Last Kiss by... I should know the name. This is awful.
But it's from Evangelion.
Oh, here you go. Yoasobi. I was at a concert not too long ago. Okay, the bass is pretty good. It's a little shouty, but it could be just a song.
I noticed that too, actually.
There's like
it's
a
a
little
bit of forwardness. They're like kind of
Maybe 2K.
yeah.
We'll see.
Like I hear that on electric guitars, but the guitars sound just a little bit too like, you know.
It's a bit crunched up, right? I mean, yeah, the bass tuning on this is quite nice, right? Like you really get that nice sort of mid bass, punch and boom sort of mix. Not a ton of sub bass, but that's fine. Mid range is good. Treble is nicely controlled. A little bit of sharpness, and it's a bit splashed out, but it's not overly done at all. I think the build quality, I quite like the build quality of this.
Yes.
One thing I really like is actually how stiff the mic boom thingy is. Yeah, it stays in place really nicely, which is great. On my head, I have no issues with the fit and comfort. I think it complies around my ears, my glasses quite nicely as well. So this will be about 300 RMB, which I believe converts to around $50 USD. So like we said, it's going to eat the lunch of HyperX, like straight up.
That's a home run.
Literally, the only thing is the lack of the tilt, I think. But for me, and I think for all three of us, we didn't have any issues with that.
Yeah, it's also worth noting. I do think this will have like a web app where you can do the typical like Moondrop stuff. So there will be like gaming specific features, but if you're one of the people who has already used like Moondrop's EQ features, I think that'll be available on the web app as well. So like talking about like eating HyperX's lunch, like you would need some sort of software integration to really do that. And I do think them including that app is probably going to be the thing that seals that.
I think for me, the biggest thing where this eats HyperX's lunch is the comfort of the pads and how the pads conform, because that was always an issue.
That really cheap
springy kind of leather. This actually feels really nice.
I agree.
And that's actually a good point because, the previous very cheap wireless headphone they had was the Moondrop Edge, and the build quality of that was not the best, I would say.
Left some to be desired.
Left a lot to be desired. This one, plastic definitely feels cheap, but it's a very lightweight, good, cheap plastic feeling. It's not like the bad type. You know what I mean? Like
I'd say for $50.
For $50 especially. And
I'm impressed.
Especially,
because Edge was more expensive.
Yes, Edge was more expensive, and you don't get cloth pads like this for under 100 usually, right? Like this is nice. Good job, Mr. Herbert.
Mr. Moondrop.
Mr. Moondrop.
Love it.
Right, cool.
I want one.
Yeah.
All right.
I can feel myself getting sweaty already.
He's going back to his gamer days.
Yeah.
Next up, we were able to go to one of the back rooms at their booth to try out the fancy stuff. And they're working on a high-end planar magnetic headphone called the Dark Side. It was actually my favorite of the ones that they had there. Like, this one was the most audiophile, for better or worse.
All right, so Griff wants me to show off that this is what I'm listening to. It's a little better than Eric Clapton.
I would say a lot.
But that's what we're here in China for. Thankfully, I was actually familiar with that one. Usually, it's better than most of the stuff I'm not familiar with at Western high-end shows. Anyway, so this is the Moondrop Dark Side. You can see it's this sort of really interesting faceplate design. It's like a bit of a Spider-Man webby thing, and it's a carbon fiber sort of design here. And the headband uses very similar to the Moondrop Skyline. But what is nice about this one is that it fits me actually quite well. It's not, it doesn't feel loose. I don't have to put my chopstick model on here.
Give headbanging a try.
Nice, it's not bad.
Headbang approved.
Yeah, headbang approved. It is just slightly loose at the bottom, but that's fine. I'm sure. Once again, I think you put a couple of zip ties up here, tighten up a little bit, right? Anyway, sound quality, I really quite like it. I think the first impression is that it's actually slightly a bit more intimate than I expected, given it's a planar. I thought it feels fairly open back, but it's actually not. But quite nicely balanced overall. Mid-range clarity was great. The bass thump and punch and weight was really nice on this headphone. Yeah, I think this is better than the Skyline, even though I think the Skyline's a little bit more unique. I think it's better than Skyline, and I kind of want one. Yeah, it's kind of my thoughts on Dark Side. Want to give this a go?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so I just got finished listening to the Dark Side as well. Similar notes to Caleb on the comfort. It's fine. I'm not a huge fan of the texture of this headband. It's a little bit, kind of gets stuck on my hair sometimes.
Just shave it off.
Nah.
Just go full audiophile.
Nah, partner won't let me. But interestingly, I did find this darker than I expected. Not in the mids. Like the mids are, I would say, a little bit forward, if anything. On this record, that sounds really good. There's a lot of electric guitar, so it sounds really like textured and intense. But there's also what sounds like either a low treble or mid treble recession a little bit that like makes it sound a little bit smooth in a way I wasn't expecting, and I kind of like. It almost kind of reminds me of like that Focal headphone effect where they have that 4K, 5K dip thing, and it comes across just a little, not muffled necessarily, but softened while still having like aggression because of the mid-range shaping. Bass is fine. I wouldn't say it was forward or anything. It was more mid-focused than anything else. Treble was seemingly fine beyond that mid-treble or low-treble dip. I'm not sure exactly where it is. I'd probably have to sign sweep it, and can't do that here. But overall, I'd say it's a solid headphone. I don't know what the pricing is, but this is the kind of thing I probably could just like put on and listen to.
Compared to the Cosmo.
What?
Compared to the Cosmo.
Compared to the Cosmo, it's definitely much more like resolute and like filled out in the upper mids. This definitely has more there. I wouldn't say their treble characters are especially similar either. I would say Cosmo was like even more low treble recessed and a little bit more upper treble, whereas this seems a little bit more reined in on both fronts. But yeah, I think the prevailing like timbral character I'm getting from it is like a slight softened, muffly kind of quality that it's not lacking in clarity or intelligibility. It just has this kind of relaxed nature about it, which is interesting because again, the upper mids seem a little bit forward. But yeah, cool headphone. Have you heard it?
I heard a version of it. It's on something else.
Okay, yeah.
It's good.
Finally got some drums.
Dude, I love this.
Really?
Yeah. This is good.
No, I liked it.
Wow. The vocals are very
Yeah.
right here.
That's the upper mids.
There's like, I don't know how you guys describe your frequency ranges, but like it's like a upper mids, lower highs, a little too forward.
Yeah. No, we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that I
We're all
can't?
saying-
It's a little
Oh, we are?
it's a little upper midsy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, I think it's also because it's softer in the low treble, so you notice that.
Yeah.
But it's like here you want a speaker. It's like so directional at you.
yeah.
It's so crazy. Yeah, interesting.
Now, the product that many of us were most excited for was their new electrostatic headphone, the Moon Zero. So we were all pretty eager to try this one since it was meant to be a more affordable and accessible estat. And on this one, impressions were a bit mixed.
Alright, so what I have here is the new Moondrop Moon Zero. This is a headphone that was supposed to release 7 years ago, and they were having a lot of issues with production.
7 years
That's
ago?
what they said in the presentation. They announced it a long time ago. I remember writing an article about this. And at the time, I believe the price was supposed to be very expensive, very, very high. And they came out and shocked us that this was gonna be like $500.
Something like that, yeah.
Kind of insane. Now, that, to be clear, is only the headphones, not with the estat amp. And estat amps are probably almost as important or arguably more important than the headphone itself in terms of like driving them. So you do need a good one. And they do have a very good one here. So, you know, take it with a slight grain of salt, what I'm going to say, if you don't have a strong enough amp. Anyway, listening to this, I'm actually really impressed by this, honestly. Like, price aside, I was really impressed by this. I did see the graph that they showed. There is a very slight bass elevation, like this hump right in the mid bass, you know, 60, 80 hertz sort of region there. Which you do hear on this, so you get a little nice little elevation and a kick drum and some of the low toms. But otherwise, it's really nicely balanced. Treble is actually really nicely done on this. I like the treble more on this than the Dark Side. The Dark Side feels slightly darker, like the others were saying, but I also found at the same time it has that darkness, but it also had like some micro splashes, micro peaks of treble. This one doesn't have that at all. So it's overall just, I find it's overall smoother. I thought the mid-range from the graph, seeing the graph, I thought the mid-range might be a little overdone, a little strident in certain areas, but not at all when I'm listening to this. I think part of that is the balance with the lower mids that I was hearing. So I am actually very, very impressed with this one. The Hongshu EH1 has some pretty good competition, you know. So, Griff, you want to hear this one?
Yes, badly.
Oh, I will say the fit was not as nice as the other one, I think. Like,
That's a shame.
bigger.
All right, so first thoughts on the Moondrop Moon Zero. As Caleb said, I'm not a fan of the comfort on this one. I feel like it's not clampy enough. So it's kind of like feeling shaky on my head. The sound is, yeah, there's definitely like a mid-bass bump around like 80 to 100 hertz or something like that on my head. It is definitely leaking because I feel like it's not clamping enough, so there's like a gap here and here. The mid-range is quite nice and quite unlike a typical estat where you basically always get that 1 kilohertz honk. I'm not getting any of that here, but I am getting like right past 3K, like maybe 3 to 4, 3 to 5 kilohertz. There's like a papery kind of crackly, dry thing that a lot of estats can have. Like the Odyssey Carbon had that for me as well. And this does kind of sound like that, but with a slightly warmer under 3K region. The rest of the treble, like mid-treble, upper treble, seems fairly polite. If anything, the main two colorations that are kind of bothering me are the mid-bass bump and the 3 to 5 kilohertz. So it comes across a little bit tubby, but also a little bit kind of like strident and dry. I'm not a fan, personally. I think the Hongshu EH1 is more comfortable on my head and comes with an energizer, even though it's a little bit more expensive as a package. It's really hard to find like an inexpensive energizer for estats that is actually like going to do the job. And the fact that the Hongshu comes with that, I probably would still go for it, even though it does have like a similar low treble issue to this one and slightly worse mids. I think just the overall package is a little bit better, and I'm not really a fan of the sound of this one, unfortunately.
All right. Time for me to be a tiebreaker. Okay, I'm ready.
You don't like it?
So I don't dislike it. I'm just not. I don't know how to.
Enthralled.
So okay, is it just me or does the sub bass roll off?
Yeah, it does.
I knew that's what you were going to point
That's the
out.
first thing I noticed. The sub bass rolls off, but I think that's kind of like. I mean, it kind of rolls off on other estats too, right?
Yeah, but usually it's ones with like worse
This goes like.
ergonomic design than this. But like this
The
is still-
ergonomic design's not that great. It kind of like flops around.
Yeah.
So the bass kind of goes like this and then drops off,
Yeah,
right?
it's got a leak bump.
But my biggest issue is that the mids and the ear gain have this kind of hardness to it. Like it has this overall just like
yeah, the 3 to 5 K.
yeah, hardness, kind of stridency to that whole band. It doesn't sound smooth there. It sounds very like detailed for the retrograde track that I was listening to. Like the vocals come through like really forward and just like that, really like almost kind of like. Yeah, yeah, but it has that almost like church hall effect for the vocals. But I think that's like a pretty notable coloration for me as well. So then I move over to the electric guitar track, and that's where it doesn't work at all. It's sort of this hardness for that whole region. I didn't mind the treble really. Like the rest of the treble I thought was pretty good, which was my issue with the headphone in Vienna. But it's that ear gain transition that I'm struggling with a little bit on this one.
So you take this over you take the dark side over this for sure.
So actually, ergonomically, I much prefer the dark side.
Same.
And actually, like tonally, like just out of the box, I prefer the sound of the dark side. It's like a bit more vivid and bombastic, and probably has more colorations in the treble. But for whatever reason, I think the rest of it worked a bit better for me.
I would, if I could, I would take the treble of this with the dark sides, the rest of the dark side.
Yeah,
total profile.
yeah, I would too. To be clear, I don't mind the bass here, other than it was clearly like just.
Oh yeah, the sub bass roll off.
Yeah, but the rest of the bass I actually thought was okay, like the way that it rises up.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people listen to this for most of their music. If it doesn't reach full spectrum, right, they're gonna hear it like it has lots of bass, right, which is not common for ESATs generally, or like flat linear bass extension planars that taper down like an Odyssey or something like that, right? So in that sense, I think it's good, but I would choose. I have to remember this is like $450.
Yeah, it's like 450 or 500.
So like as an entry level estat, I think it's pretty good actually.
The thing is, you then also have to buy an energizer.
But then you also have to buy an energizer, exactly.
So the EH1, I mean, still.
So EH1, yeah, and this is the thing is I'm not as in love with the EH1 as Griffin is. For
I'm
me,
not even in love with it.
okay, for me
I
there's
just think it's a good value.
it is probably a good value, yeah, and it's for that reason. Like if you want like an entry level estat that is just
have to have
decent,
the Energizer.
you need to have the energizer,
That
right?
makes it easy.
Although I think it's good that something exists that is cheap for the estat itself. So
Realistically, the majority of people should just get like a, basic dynamic driver planar, right? Like,
Correct.
Realistically, right? You get this because you want to try something cool, try something fun, maybe a little colored. So, as an entry level estat, or if you're already into the estat memes, could be a fun addition. But yeah, don't buy this as your first headphone. I'm also listening to like some Giga estat now. I don't have that at home.
This is a very expensive MSB energizer.
Yeah.
So
That amp is probably more expensive than everything else in this room.
correct.
can you do the retrograde song like singing again, please? Yeah. All right, that's it. Lastly, we got to try their new speaker, and again, this one is meant to be around $100, so a bit more on the budget-friendly side. And again, impressions were a little bit mixed on this one. So what did we just do?
Yeah, so we just heard the new Moondrop speakers. They're like $100 for a pair, little 3-inch desktop Johns. If you're gonna listen to them near field on a desk, like you're gonna need to do EQ because they are quite bright on axis. Like the measurements show them as being like basically flat on axis, and the directivity curve is, I would say, gentle. So you either need quite a bit of distance or quite a bit of like towing in or out, like away from your ear to make it sound normal. But they're only $100, so I could see them still being a decent option for people. It's just with speakers, you do need to EQ, just like period. So if you're gonna get something like that, I would recommend also getting a measurement microphone, measuring in your room, and applying some EQ to just kind of downslope them at the listening position, because yeah, as it was, they were pretty punishing. They sounded very 5K, 10K heavy for me.
Yeah, so ignore all that. What you're going to do is you're going to buy a subwoofer.
Yes.
And then you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are similar, but I would say I'm kind of in between the two. Definitely, you need a subwoofer for that.
Yeah.
I will say in the room, they did have it pretty loud. They have it definitely a bit too close. I would have spread it out a little bit more and then put it further back. I think that would have helped, relax some of the... I think it would have...
put it on a desk, though.
Yeah, but not... They have space to spread it out, or they wouldn't have just had it that loud. That was pretty loud. They had it in there.
Yeah.
I think it's more that upper mids is definitely a bit more forward in a way that I think most speakers shouldn't be. But once again,
It sounded like the Skyline.
yeah. So Andrew said it sounded like a Skyland.
Yeah.
I think it's half a Skyland. So it's still definitely on the leaner, brighter DF-HRTF style or DF style.
but
Flat in echoing chamber. But for $100, it's decent.
There aren't many other options at that price.
Yeah. But subwoofer is quite literally probably the most important thing other than speakers.
Yeah.
So
What's great about it being $100 is that you do have then more left over to get like a sub and maybe a measurement microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see them develop a subwoofer like a companion subwoofer to go with these speakers.
Yeah.
Because then that would make it a more compelling package. And I think
Especially if it's similarly like small.
Yeah.
Like low extended.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that would work really well.
it's called a sub pack.
Yeah, you could do a sub pack with it. Because that's not degen as Anyways, the Moondrop speaker is okay.
$100.
Okay. It's okay. All right. Moving on.
So these were just the products that we got to try at the show. They will also be releasing a number of in-ears like the Chew 3, as well as another collab with Critical called the Silicon, which I will be reviewing shortly. They also have some exciting new true wireless stuff in the works as well, and I'll hopefully be getting that stuff in. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you're interested in seeing those videos. But that's going to do it for this one. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.